Hello, BookTube and AuthorTube. This is Writing Wednesday. So it's been about 2 weeks since my last writing video update. I haven't really had much to report except for I'm making progress with the ideas on several different projects, but today is something a bit more special. I'm going to start I guess you can officially call it a rewrite of Akarja the Sorcerer. So, Akarja the Sorcerer was my NaNoWriMo project from last year. Although at the time I think I titled it Zazaril or The Fates of Chaos or something. I don't quite remember what it was I called it. But I decided to change the main character's name to Akarja and then just title the project Akarja the Sorcerer. So I wrote the project and I wasn't quite satisfied with it. I mean, there were some things I really liked and some things I didn't particularly care for. So I spent the subsequent months reworking it, playing around with it, trying to make it a stronger, or at least for me, a more palatable story. And I think I've done enough work that it is well past time that I get back to actually writing it, or rewriting it in this case. So my plan is, after I finish this video and upload it, I'm going to get started writing. So I'll write roughly 1 to 3 this afternoon, and then I'll come back about 6:30 or 7 and write to about 10 with a few breaks and interruptions here and there as the world demands. And I'll write until I finish, and then depending whether it's 25,000 words, 20,000 words, 50,000 words or more, I'm just going to write until I'm finished and try not to do any sort of editing until I'm completed with the first draft, and then I'll go through at some point, either immediately or maybe take a break and then start doing some edits and figure out a better way to do the second drafting and those edits than I have found. So for the foreseeable future, my primary focus is going to be on Akarja the Sorcerer. And I might do some idea work and planning work in the mornings before I go to work, or before I start work, I should say. And so once I finish with Akarja the Sorcerer, depending if I'm done by mid-September, with the writing and the redrafts, the further drafts and the editing, and I can comfortably say I'm done, at least for now, with this project. Depending what time it is, I might write a few, or try to write a few short stories, which I'm not really all that good at myself. I mean, if I have to say so. I'm not terribly fond of writing short fiction. Although, I mean, practice probably makes good, but I'm going to do, so if I have enough time, I might try to do a short story, and if not, I'll start work in more earnest, or with greater attention to November's NaNoWriMo, which I am intending on it being a more realistic story. Although, whether or not that pans out, or I decide to make it a fantasy or something, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as writing update videos go, I aim to do a writing update once a week, updating you with my progress, things that are working well, things that aren't working well, maybe a word count, that sort of thing. And we'll see how it goes. because I do want to focus on as much the problems I'm having, the struggles I'm having, as what's working. Because I think seeing where someone else struggles and works their way through it would be probably valuable for other writers. Yeah, so I think that's about, well, okay, so, and then I also obviously am working on a few other projects that I'll start work on in the new year. The Fates of Chaos, The Journey. I definitely need to figure out what I'm going to do with Scorpius, my superhero project, because I have like 21,000 words of ideas, and that definitely argues against a simple novel. I don't think a standalone novel would work. I mean, there's a way I could probably make it work, focusing on like a major sort of epic story arc with maybe a few related or not so related sub arcs that might work, but it definitely I think argues for a larger work than I'm comfortable doing as a massive novel series. So we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I do need to try to read some superhero prose and see if I can find any that actually make the superhero work in a novel format rather than just as a comic format. But I think that's it for today. Obviously, I'll be back next week with a writing update and let you know how things are going. And I'll have a video up tomorrow. Probably my a nostalgic, or I guess a time machine book tour of the books I had about roughly 10 years ago. I haven't found the complete list yet. So there's going to be a lot of books missing. There's at least a page or two that should be here that aren't. So yeah, we'll have to just make do. Anyway, so that's all I have for today, BookTube. Thank you, and please stay safe.